He'll be on the moderate side of the field. But as Jeb Bush gets no traction, why exactly isn't John Kasich a more plausible? If you want a centrist Republican who's for Common Core, is accepted the Medicaid expansion, why
immigration?
Immigration is moderately liberal, I think, but he has been a pretty effective governor of Ohio, both in terms of policy and politics. Not quite my kind of Republican or conservative, but I think in that lane, Kasich will be strong. And it shows how insane the debate rules are, incidentally, that right now he would not make the debate in August.
He wouldn't even come close, but Donald Trump would.
Donald Trump would, Ben Carson would, and many others.
And there's the discussion about the Republican field on this week, yesterday, or Sunday, I should say. Joining us now is our friend Daniel Henninger, Deputy Editorial Page Director of the Wall Street Journal, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, Fox News contributor. Daniel, welcome. You wrote a great piece, Hillary versus 19 Republicans. Of course, as you point out in your piece, we don't really know if it's going to be 19 Republicans, but that number, for some reason, keeps coming up.
Yeah, everyone keeps talking about it. And as I say, the only 19 I could think of was the old Rolling Stones song, "Here Comes Your 19th Nervous Breakdown."
Right.
And that's the way a lot of Republicans are talking right now. They think that there's just no way to handle this many Republicans, and they think Jeb Bush turns out to be rustier at politics than they had expected, and they're beginning to hit the panic button. But I think with the exception of the debates, a lot of that is overblown. It's a surprisingly substantive group. There's a lot of governors, accomplished governors in there, Bobby Jindal and Scott Walker, Chris Christie, and many of them are indeed talking substance and putting forward plans. So I think, as chaotic as it may seem, or even Darwinian as it may seem, I think the Republicans are probably going to emerge from this with the best, fittest candidate to go up against Hillary Clinton, who essentially has no competition, and one does have to wonder how fit she's going to be a year from now.
You know what gets me is the criticism from the mainstream media. Of course, you know, they'll tear apart any Republican candidate they can, but they criticize the fact that the field is so large. Yet when you look at the field, we're talking about a greatly diversified field when it comes to the left wing of the party, the centrist wing of the party, the right wing of the party, and there's a woman in there, there's African American in there, there's Hispanics in there. You would think they would celebrate that, and instead they tear it apart.
Well, they'll never celebrate it, no matter what the Republicans do. But Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, both very interesting individuals in very different ways. Thoughtful, intelligent. Undoubtedly a long shot for either one of them to make it to the White House, but it's good to have people like this in the mix. And I think all of these candidates are going to sharpen each other's views and give them the kind of experience in the big league of presidential politics that one is going to need. Make no mistake about it. Whatever shape Hillary may be in come next year, if she and Bill survive for a year, the Democratic Party, the big blue machine, is going to just drive her forward. And it will be a competitive campaign, and the Republicans are going to need the best person they've got. And I think this process, as I say, perhaps with the exception of the debates, ought to produce that.
What about the Democrat side? I mean, we're working under the assumption that Hillary will get the nomination, and I think it's a pretty good assumption no matter who gets in. Bernie Sanders. But what about O'Malley? I mean, you keep hearing him, and he's a good-looking guy, and he was governor. I'm sure there's a lot of negatives they'll bring up. Was Maryland and Baltimore, whatever. But still, in all, could he do anything to damage Hillary?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Martin O'Malley, well, for starters, the former governor of Maryland, whose tenure was so unpopular, raised so many taxes, that a Republican succeeded him last November in the governorship. So hardly a track record to run for the presidential. Well, maybe it's a track record, given how progressive and left-wing the party has become. But, Martin O'Malley was formerly a huge friend of Bill Clinton.
Right.
The idea that he would challenge Hillary it beggars belief, really. I think he's kind of out there as kind of a rabbit in a mile race, and he's just kind of going to go out there and give her the figment of competition, and he'll drop out eventually after making it look as though she's got someone to compete with. And I wouldn't be surprised if what he's got in the back of his mind is becoming HHS
I was
secretary.
going to say, and wonder if the current HUD secretary will be the VP on the Hillary ticket. But that remains to be seen. Daniel, always great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, good to talk to you, Steve.
Take care. All right, folks. So we are coming back. And dissent. What is dissent? How do you define dissent? We'll be back with the author of Dissent, The History of an American Idea, Ralph Young. We did this a little while ago, a few days back, but it's worth watching. Stay with us.